A lot of people think Peppa Pig is just a simple kids show, but the Little Piglet's world actually hides a very mysterious side. Did you know there are plenty of unanswered questions in the show? Mr. Potato. Mr. Potato is surrounded by so many mysteries that we could easily call him a walking question mark. It's easy to understand that this world is populated by animals acting like humans, but it's a bit harder to swallow the idea that there are also giant vegetables with arms, legs, mouths, and eyes, especially because that's not something common. The only ones we know of are Mr. Potato, Super Potato, and a few others who also work as actors. Why do these beings exist, and why are there so few of them? And what's the reason they all work in the entertainment business? The closest thing we have to answers are fan theories. The most realistic one says that Mr. Potato and the other vegetables are actually just animals in disguise, which would explain why they're all actors. They're basically performers playing characters. However, that doesn't explain how Super Potato showed the ability to fly, something no other animal in the show has ever done. This adds strength to some of the wilder theories, like the idea that these vegetables are aliens, especially since Super Potato starred in a movie about space vegetables. Coincidence? And that's just the first of the 10 unexplained mysteries you never noticed in Peppa Pig. Stay tuned because another Cinewave full of new stuff is starting now. Miss Rabbit. Miss Rabbit has appeared in countless episodes, but some questions about her were never really answered, especially the one about her main trait. How on earth does Miss Rabbit manage to work so many jobs? She doesn't have just 3 or 5 jobs, which would already be an insane number for any real person, but dozens of completely different ones. From store clerk to helicopter pilot doing rescue missions. Miss Rabbit would need way more than 24 hours in a day to handle all those jobs. And yet we always see her calm and relaxed, never in a hurry in any episode. That's totally impossible, and no one seems to care. It's no wonder many fans believe that Miss Rabbit is actually several rabbits all using the same name for some mysterious reason. Others think it's something even stranger, that she can actually manipulate time so she can be in multiple places at once. Time. Speaking of time, it works very differently in Peppa Pig's world, and nothing ever really explains why. The characters age incredibly slowly. Peppa and George have only celebrated one birthday in the more than 20 years the show has been running. Meanwhile, there have been several Christmas episodes and other holiday specials, which makes the characters' ages totally inconsistent. Outside the show, it's because the creators don't want Peppa and her friends to grow up. But inside the show's universe, there must be another reason. We just don't know what it is yet. A popular theory ties this directly to Miss Rabbit, suggesting she's the one manipulating time not only to keep all her jobs, but also to make the flow of years in this world so confusing. Mr. Wolf. Since the characters in Peppa Pig act like humans, predators and prey seem to live in harmony. Well, sort of. Because some of Mr. Wolf's behavior definitely raises suspicions. Seriously, whenever he or any member of his family is around Daddy Pig, something weird happens. In Little Boat, he and Daddy Pig are alone in a small boat out at sea. And then, Mr. Wolf starts talking about how hungry he is while giving Daddy Pig a suspicious look. Then, in the episode where Daddy Pig builds a house for the Wolf family, Mr. Wolf asks what the pig's house is made of. A clear reference to the 3 little pigs. Daddy Pig immediately catches on and answers that his house is made of bricks. Even Mrs. Wolf couldn't resist making the same joke in Wendy Wolf's birthday, and she got the exact same answer. It's impossible to see these little jokes without wondering why the Wolf family acts that way while no other animal seems to have those carnivorous tendencies. Do they secretly want to eat the pig family? If you think so too, drop a comment below saying #wolf so we'll know. Adult names: Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, Miss Rabbit, Mr. Wolf. Have you ever noticed that almost none of the adult characters are called by their real names? Only the kids have that privilege. Seriously, there are very few adults who are called by their actual names, like Auntie Dottie. Maybe it's just so we don't confuse her with Aunt Pig, Uncle Pig's wife, but that still doesn't make the whole thing any less weird. And it's not just Peppa who calls them that. The adults themselves use these nicknames as if they were their real names. What's the logic behind that? Could it be some strange rule of this world? If so, who made it up? Is it a cultural thing, or is it actually forbidden for an adult to go around saying their real name? If it's the second option, then Dottie definitely has something to tell us. Though, maybe she's an exception because she lives abroad, and this might just be one of those quirky British customs from Peppa's homeland, the rich pig family. Something few people ever think about is the pig family's financial situation. From the very beginning, it's been clear that these little pigs don't have money problems. Their house is great, the kids get toys all the time, and the family has traveled to other countries more than once. Makes sense, right? After all, Daddy Pig works in engineering. But as time went on, it became more and more obvious that the family's wealth goes far beyond what we first imagined. They rebuilt their house to make it even bigger than before and bought a brand new car that's larger than the old one, all because of the birth of baby Evie. In fact, Evie's very birth cost the family a small fortune, since Mummy Pig gave birth to her youngest daughter in the Lindo wing of St. Mary's Hospital in London, the very same place where Prince William's children were born. So we probably don't even need to say it. That delivery wasn't cheap. Giving birth there costs around 7,425 euros, which equals about $9,800, or roughly 52,000 reais. Yep, that's just for the delivery itself. We're not even counting all the medical exams Mummy Pig must have gone through. It's already clear that the pig family is loaded. They just don't go around flaunting their wealth. But where does all that money really come from? That's quite a lot, even for Daddy Pig's job. Maybe it has to do with Mummy Pig being a book author, or perhaps there's some kind of inheritance Daddy Pig received. What do you think? Dottie. Before Evie was born, the last big addition to the pig family was Auntie Dottie, Mummy Pig's sister, who appears in the Thanksgiving episode. Before that, Peppa's maternal aunt had only been mentioned, since she lives in another country and can't visit her family all the time. The last time she saw Peppa, her niece was still a baby, and George hadn't even been born the last time Dottie visited her relatives in the UK. That means she probably went about 4 years without visiting her homeland. But why? We know money shouldn't be the issue, since the pig family is clearly well off. Even if Dottie isn't as wealthy as her sister, Mummy Pig could easily help her with the travel expenses, unless Dottie's relationship with Mummy Pig isn't as perfect as it seems. Could it be that they had a huge fight in the past and now only act friendly in front of Peppa and George? Normal animals. In Peppa Pig, animals are everywhere, but most of them act like humans. Well, most of them, since we've already seen that the wolf family can be a bit more traditional when deciding what to have for dinner. But the fact that this world is full of anthropomorphic animals makes it funny to remember that there are also regular animals in the show. They appear in several episodes, most notably in the one where Peppa's class visits a zoo. And it's not that some species are humanized while others behave like normal animals. The show once featured a realistic polar bear, even though there's also a polar bear family that looks just like the other main characters. Could there be a reason behind that? Ever thought about always having new animation content on your feed? Just subscribe and hit the bell. Carnivorous guards. Speaking of that, the zookeepers who appear in the show are Mr. Lion and Mrs. Crocodile. Pretty strange choices considering they're both carnivores. Of course, we know that carnivores and herbivores manage to live peacefully in this universe, but these guards actually showed a desire to eat Madame Gazelle, with Mr. Lion accidentally calling her a gnu, which just so happens to be one of a lion's favorite meals. They seem to be a case similar to Mr. Wolf, who still has the wild instincts of his species and probably eats people in secret. It's probably best if we don't even imagine what Mr. Lion and Mrs. Crocodile do to the zoo animals when nobody's watching. Food. Speaking of that, what exactly do the other characters eat in Peppa Pig's universe? You know, the ones who don't seem suspicious like Mr. Wolf or the zoo guards? just vegetables? No, that's unlikely. Daddy Pig has already been seen having a barbecue with his friends, so their food could actually be the normal animals, the ones that can't talk or walk on two legs like humans. But the question doesn't stop there. There are a lot of details we just don't know. For example, can an animal eat the meat of its non-humanized version? In other words, could a pig eat pork? Or would that be considered wrong? And if it is considered wrong, how would that work? Would a cow really be okay watching its buddy eat beef? See how the more you think about it, the weirder it all gets? A single answer to any one of these questions could make life in Peppa Pig's world way darker and way more disturbing. Take the chance and watch the 2 videos we left on the screen. I'm sure you'll have fun. See you soon.